Good evening, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to our service this evening. I am glad to see all of you, and I hope you will be stimulated, encouraged, supported, whatever, by the comments that I'm going to make in this service. Let us begin with the singing of Ki Eshmora Shabbat, and for those of you who have your books, it is page 11. We continue now with the singing of the Shabbat candle blessing. We offer thanks, O God, for this Shabbat which unites us in faith and hope, for Shabbat holiness, which inspires sacred living, for Shabbat memories glowing even in darkness, for Shabbat peace, born of friendship and love. We offer thanks and blessing, O God. We continue the singing of Al Shlosha Dvarim.
Devoring ha'olam kayon
22, Psalm 92, a song for the Sabbath day. Mizmor Shir Yom HaShabbat. Tov lahodot l'Adonai, u'zamer l'shimcha elyon. A song for Shabbat. It is good to praise Adonai, to sing hymns to your name, O Most High, to proclaim your steadfast love at daybreak, your faithfulness each night, with a 10-stringed harp, with voice and lyre together. You have gladdened me by your deeds, Adonai. I shout for joy at your handiwork. How great are your works, Adonai, how subtle your designs. A brute cannot know, a fool cannot understand this. The righteous bloom like a date palm. They thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in the courts of our God. In old age, they still produce fruit. They are full of sap and freshness, attesting that Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no wrong. Page 28, please rise for the Baruch.
Baruch Hu en Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Praise Adonai, to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai, to whom praise is due now and forever. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv haravim, v'chokma peach she'arim. Blessed are you, Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars and their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzevaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. Baruch atah Adonai HaMa'ariv Aravim. Page 32, Ahavat Olam.
Beit Yisrael
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני, אוהב עמו ישראל. We continue with the Shema. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever. Please be seated, and on page 36, we continue with, you shall love Adonai your God with all your heart.
You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your strength, with all your being. Set these words which I command you this day. Teach them faithfully to your children. Speak of them in your home and on your way. When you lie down, when you rise up, bind them as a sign upon your heart. Let them be a symbol before your eyes. Inscribe them on the waters of your hearts and upon your gates.
On the top of page 39, standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together. Michamocha. The middle of page 43, give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence are acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours. Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom, Leinu va'al kol amo Yisrael, va'al Yerushalayim. On 44, Yismachu.
Okay, Yismachu. Yismachu, v'alevatecha, shomre, 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 shabbat v'koreh, shomre, shabbat. Yismachu, v'alevatecha, shomre, 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 shabbat v'koreh, shomre, shabbat. Mekadoshim, shavim, shabbat, kulam, yisba'u, v'dagu mitovecha shabbat. Yismachu, v'alevatecha, shomre, 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 shabbat v'koreh, shomre, shabbat. Yismachu, v'alevatecha, shomre, 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 shabbat v'koreh, shomre, shabbat.
The people of Israel shall keep Shabbat. Observing Shabbat throughout the ages is a covenant for all time. It is a sign for all time between me and the people of Israel. For in 6 days Adonai made heaven and earth, and on the seventh day God ceased from work and was refreshed. Page 46. Please rise for the tefillah. top of page 53, days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see, wherever we gaze, that the bush burns unconsumed, and that we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, how filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. Please be seated, and we're on the top of page 55. May these hours of rest and renewal open our hearts to joy and our minds to truth. May all who struggle find rest on this day. May all who suffer find solace. May all who hurt find healing on this day. May all who despair find purpose. May all who hunger find fulfillment on this day. And may this day fulfill its promise. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 56, Ritzay. On the top of page 59, God of goodness, we give thanks for the gift of life, wonder beyond words, for the awareness of soul, our light within, for the world around us so filled with beauty. For the richness of the earth, which day by day sustains us, for all these and more we offer thanks. Baruch atah Adonai hatov shemcha u'lachana el hodot. 60. And abundant peace to Israel, your people forever. For you are the sovereign God of all peace. May it be pleasing to you to bless your people Israel in every season and moment with your peace. Baruch Adonai, ha'mevorech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. Let us continue with a few moments silent private prayer.
Shalom, shalom, Nimrod. I say shalom aleinu. V'yakov Yisrael Nimrod. I say shalom, shalom, Nimrod.
Please turn to page 253, Prayers for Healing. Misha Berach Avotenu ve'imotenu, Avraham Yitzchak ve'Yaakov, Sarah Rivka Rachel ve'Leah, Hu Yivarach et hacholim, and the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Let us mention in particular Ralph Einstein, Stuart Talbert, Helen Ditton, Bert Silbert, Rabbi Jonathan Katz, Violet Spivak. For those of you who have additional names you'd like to mention, say them out loud or say them to yourself right now. And we pray that the Blessed Holy One be filled with compassion for their health to be restored and their strength to be revived. May God swiftly send them a complete renewal of body and spirit. And let us all say amen as we sing together. Page 258. Source of well-being, may the children of this community learn these passions from us. Love of Torah, devotion and prayer in support of the needy. May we guide with integrity, and may our leadership be in your service. May those who teach and nourish us be blessed with satisfaction, and may we appreciate their time and their devotion. Bless us with the fruits of wisdom and understanding, and may our efforts bring fulfillment and joy. Thus says Adonai, this is what I desire, to unlock the fetters of wickedness and untie the cords of lawlessness, to let the oppressed go free, to break off every yoke. Share your bread with the hungry, and take the wretched poor into your home. When you see the naked, give clothing, and do not ignore your own kin. If you banish the yoke from your midst, the menacing hand, the evil speech, if you offer compassion to the hungry and satisfy the famished creature, then your light shall shine in darkness. Page 259, Sha'alu Shalom Yerushalayim, Shlayu Ovai. Pray for the peace of Jerusalem. May those who love you prosper. Avinu Shabashamayim.
Avinu Shabashamayim, Tzor Yisrael v'Gorom, V'eket B'dina
We Jews are facing some very serious challenges right now. But I want to take a moment first to say something about this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend. If I didn't know any better, I would think this weekend is a time to have sales on mattresses or refrigerators, or an opportunity to go to the beach. The seriousness of the day, the weekend, I'm afraid has been lost on too many people. There are a lot of serious things that we are facing right now. We heard the news that the Holocaust Museum in St. Petersburg, not too far from here, was physically defaced with the words "Jews are guilty" written on it. What does that say? We heard that in a restaurant in Los Angeles, individuals carrying the Palestine flag demanded to know who was a Jew in that restaurant. As a little footnote, everyone there should have been brave enough to stand up. Singling out Jews. Yes, all our efforts to have extra security at Temple Beth Israel and the new door that we're putting in, that God forbid something horrible should happen, there's another way of escape. All the more necessary. We can't avoid that we are living in troubled times. And we have a congressperson who compares wearing a mask to the Holocaust. Don't say it's a result of ignorance. It's offensive, as so many other things are right now. I am conflicted. A good part of me feels relatively safe. I'm not looking over my shoulder. I'm saying, selfishly, I could be living in far more volatile places, and I have. We go through this every so often. College campuses are unpleasant places now and have been for decades. I recall very clearly the image at the University of Illinois in the early 1980s when I was the Hillel rabbi there. Protests on the main quad with big signs, a Star of David, and then an equal sign, and then a swastika. But I'm different now because I live in what I think, I hope not incorrectly, a safer community. I feel comfortable on Longboat Key. I feel comfortable in Sarasota, but I must be on guard. I want to say, hopefully this will all go away. As I said, I would sigh a sigh of relief when there was a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas. It hasn't solved the problem. The problem is still there, but there's a breather, a respite. At least right now, there isn't fighting. And I hope that the tensions in this country and the anger, they won't go away, but maybe they won't be as expressed in such a public way. Underlying too much is a very, very negative feeling regarding Jews and painful ideas. And I'll give an example. The statement which you hear so often, which is meant to be in support of Israel, that Israel has a right to defend itself, implies that there are people who don't think Israel does, that it's perfectly okay to kill Jews. And if you want to call anything a war crime, thousands of rockets being sent into a country isn't. We are in a difficult situation, but we are in a fortunate situation that at least officially, the government of this country speaks up in defense of Jews. The president sent out a very, very nice letter early today in support of the Jewish community in opposition to these anti-Jewish actions. What can we do? Well, certainly we're doing it. We're enhancing our security. We're not being foolish. We're being careful. But you never know when anything will happen. There's something else we can do. And I'm not saying we should all carry guns. No, that doesn't work. But we can arm ourselves intellectually and spiritually to know who we are and what we are, and to know that certain accusations are wrong, don't make sense, or are offensive. That we don't let people who hate Jews, who want to kill Jews, somehow or another to get us to be a little sympathetic to their cause. We survived through most of our history not because of physical strength. We weren't allowed to defend ourselves. Jews weren't allowed to carry weapons. We survived because we had a sense of who we are and what we are, and that we're not going to weaken on the intellectual, spiritual, or emotional level. I look forward, and I've been saying this constantly, I look forward to the day when on Shabbat, we, the Temple Beth Israel family, will be able to get together in person and support ourselves, the kind of support you get when you're with others who are like you. That we are a community that gives each and every member of that community a sense of belonging to a higher cause, the higher cause of the support of the Jewish people and the Jewish religion, which has kept our people going. We've done a half-decent job through this pandemic. It's over 14 months now. It's unbelievable. Where has that year gone? But we have made an effort to keep our programs alive, even if it's via Zoom. I know it's not the real thing. I don't like it either. But we've had services every Shabbat and continue to work toward that continuity. The continuity of our religious services, the continuity of the Jewish people, the continuity of the Jewish people knowing who we are and what we are. And when we want to feel good, we sort of deny half of what's going on and say, it's just the lunatic fringe. Yes, it's lunatic. I'm afraid it may be more than just a fringe. But let us hope and pray that that is all it is, and that somehow or another, no, all the problems won't be solved, but at least some of the tensions will be reduced. When we say that and pray for a Shabbat of peace, of quiet, of safety, and good health, that is all we can do right now, but we can be aware of who we are and what we are, and keep our security as strong as possible. May God give us the strength to continue doing what our ancestors did through the centuries. Let us turn now to page 282, and we rise for the adoration.
Here we go. Let us adore the ever-living God and render praise unto you, who spread out the heavens
Kaddish on page 289. In nature's ebb and flow, God's eternal law abides. When tears dim our vision or grief clouds our understanding, we often lose sight of God's eternal plan. Yet we know that growth and decay, life and death all reveal a divine purpose. God, who is our support in the struggles of life, is also our hope in death. We have set God before us and shall not despair. In God's hands are the souls of all the living and the spirits of all flesh. Under God's protection we abide, and by God's love are we comforted. O life of our life, soul of our soul, cause your light to shine into our hearts and fill our spirits with abiding trust in you. We remember the recently departed Joshua Haran, Ronald Lebo, Sophie Pollack, Lee Black, Martin Ross, Al Grossman, Norman Gross, Florence Haar, Dee Einstein, Dolores Scholdinger, Judith Nelson Feldman. We remember those whose yard sites occur at this time: Norbert Daniel, Meyer Gerson, Gilbert Glickman, Marguerite Gottlieb, Sylvia Granowitz, Lillian Greenwald, Gerald Harlan, Jack Kreis, Lillian Kreis, Leo Lieberman, Ari David Moses Morse, Charlotte Nissenbaum, Thalia Robiner, Arnold Rosen, Maurice Schottenfeld, Florence Gursky, Harry Tobias. And if you have additional names, again, either say them out loud or say them to yourself as we turn to page 294 and rise for the Kaddish. Yit Gadal ve'yit Kadash Shamei Rabbah ve'alma divrach cherutei ve'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon of yomechon of chayei dechol Beit Yisrael b'gala u'bizman kariv ve'imru amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam ul'almei almaya yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal Shmei dekutsha rechu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbachata v'nechamata damidran v'alma v'imru amen. Yehei Shlama Rabbah min Shamaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom bimromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the source of peace grant peace unto those who mourn and comfort the bereaved among us, and let us all say amen. Please be seated, and I call on our President, Stuart Sinai, for a few announcements.
Thank you, Rabbi. You'll be all pleased to know that I don't have a speech because I know some of you want to watch the 11 o'clock news. But Rabbi, I want to thank you. Well, first of all, let me thank you all for being here tonight. This enormous crowd of us who appreciates all this and who appreciates, as the Rabbi was saying, that we have not missed a service on Friday or Saturday through this entire pandemic. And we should congratulate ourselves because of that. Many places have not been able to do that. Rabbi, thanks for your inspiring words tonight, your very meaningful reflections on what's going on in the world today. And I'm afraid you're right. In the United States, this is much more than a fringe. It's been here a long time. They've crawled from under the rocks, and they're out there, and they're vocal, and they're mean, and they're dangerous. And we have to be careful. And Anne and the choir, Kai, Allison, Jamal, and of course, Noah, thank you for your music tonight. Every time I listen to you, in fact, I'm running out of accolades. And,
We lost Kai. Kai got sick and left.
oh, okay, but I mentioned her name though.
Yeah.
Okay, I wonder what happened to her. Jamal was such voice today.
With me, yeah.
Oh, he was magnificent,
He
Jamal.
just flipped right over, right.
Your music and song just lifts our spirit every Friday night. I'm looking forward to when we soon get back into the temple with the entire choir and
are too.
volunteer choir. And however we work that out. And I'll
Yeah.
mention that in just a moment.
Have they finished with the, oh, I'm sorry, you're doing your announcements. Have they finished with the construction?
No, and I wanted to mention that we're going to get, I had originally said a couple of weeks ago that we were hoping to have 75% of our congregation vaccinated, and we're a very conscientious, intelligent group, and I think we've already reached that. I haven't talked to anybody who hasn't been vaccinated weeks ago now, and I expect by the high holidays, we'll have very few people who are not vaccinated, and we'll handle that situation at the time. With regard to reopening, we're going to reopen. You'll be surprised how soon it's going to be. But right now, of course, we're having some complications having nothing to do with the pandemic. As you've heard numerous times, we've taken advantage of this hiatus to update all kinds of things throughout the building, and especially in the sanctuary, including a special humidifier that's going to take the humidity down from like 65% to 35%. It's going to be much more comfortable, much more breathable in the sanctuary, and especially in the choir box. In addition to that, as the rabbi said, we're putting in that door on the right side of the temple so that we have another exit. We've already put in all kinds of security measures. We have deadbolt locks that automatically can go into place. We have shatterproofed our windows. We have added lighting all around the building. But this last thing is the door, and the door has been ordered. I don't know where that door comes from, but it comes from far away. And if you notice, the fire station on Longboat Key is having the same problem. They can't get their special doors either. But we're beginning to actually knock out the wall in the first week of July. And I hope by the end of July, we will have our door and we'll have that finished. And then that brings us on to something even more interesting. We're going to begin what I call our experimental phase 1 rehearsal pre-opening. I think it's Friday, August 7th, at which time the rabbi and the choir and our IT people and me will be on the Bema, and we will be testing all the systems, testing how it all works, how it gets recorded, how the broadcast goes at the same time. I'm sure we're going to have glitches. We're not going to have congregation at the time in there because I'm sure we're going to have interruptions, and we'll be going back and forth to get everything correct. And then I hope, though, on the next Friday, we'll actually have what I call pre-phase 1, in which we're actually going to invite congregants to come. And I think that's the weekend of the 14th. And we then have the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, and September 4th to iron out everything, because services, Rosh Hashanah begins on the 6th, the evening of the 6th and 7th. So we're going to be in the building soon. And everybody who's been waiting for that in the past, I've always said, I don't know, but I do know now. We have, well, let's call them tentative though. we have firm tentative plans to start this process and be back in even before Rosh Hashanah. And we hope on that last Shabbos before Rosh Hashanah, we can have an oneg, maybe even a dinner, or maybe a dinner after the high holidays, in which we actually all get together. And I'm, again, confident everybody will be vaccinated. And with regard to that, we're going to have a couple of rules about coming in the door for Rosh Hashanah. We're going to say that people who are vaccinated will go into the sanctuary, and masks will be optional, although we prefer you wear them. People who are not vaccinated, and I think that will be very few people, will be asked to sit in front of the social hall. The sliding doors will be open, and they'll be asked to wear masks. I expect there'll be very few of those people. So we're excited to get going, and it will be very soon. And I had made some notes to myself about other things to say, but I bored myself when I finished writing them, so I didn't bother rehearsing them. So I don't remember what they are. But I want to wish you all a meaningful Shabbat. And what else, Carol? Carol usually tells me what to say, so she's not in the same room with me now. So I'm running out of words. But anyway, a meaningful Shabbat. Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Let us continue now with the singing of Tfilat HaDerech.
Ready to rock. I'll do my best to sing. Okay, here we go. All right, so. May we be blessed as we go on our way. May we be guided in peace. May we be blessed with love and joy. May this be our blessing. Amen.
May this Shabbat be a time of peace, of health, and happiness, an uneventful Shabbat. Yivarecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chponecha, Yisa Adonai panav elecha, v'yasem lecha shalom. May God bless you by protecting you. May God's light shine upon you, and may God be gracious to you. May you feel God's presence within you always, and may you find peace. Good Shabbos. Shabbat Shalom.
Good Shabbat.